Welcome back, Love Stylers. I'm Misty. Today we're going to be talking about midlife anger. And I have 3 reasons you might be angry. And I also have 3 main solutions to help you work through it. When we are angry, we have high cortisol in our bodies, and it does not help our health at all. As a matter of fact, it can diminish your health if you're not careful. So I'm here to help today. In midlife, we've had more years to have made mistakes. So it seems like in your midlife, or at least I've noticed around me, especially women, I hate to say it, we're angry. And it's okay. Anger is natural. But having an angry disposition all the time, that's not natural. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because I'm going through it. I'm 52 years old. I've had the worst year of my life, maybe ever. But I'm trying to work through it, and I'll give you some of my tips today, and I hope they help you. Although anger is very natural, so forgive yourself right away if you are angry sometimes. It's not a very big deal. It can become a very big deal if this is how you live your life and you're constantly angry with everybody around you and everything that happens to you instead of for you. You might have high cortisol levels, which is the hormone in your body that's a fight or flight. It might be there too often. You might deal with some health issues. It could actually cause health issues, extra stress. It might come out as anxiety. It could come out as victimhood. Everybody's always against you all the time. I've done all of them. It's okay, everybody. Anger can even be a motivator to get you off your butt to start doing the things you know you should be doing. And I mean the good stuff, the stuff you always dreamed about. I want to say thank you to all of my new subscribers. Welcome home to Love Style. Have a moment with me. Maybe we can both learn something. Please feel free to comment. I love your comments. I live for your comments. Even an emoji would be helpful. Let's set a good intention today and throw an emoji in the comments so I know you're listening. And of course, like, share, and subscribe if any of this helps you today. We usually talk a lot on this channel about a carnivore diet. We have recently started to pivot. And I'm not going to be talking about diet all that much anymore. I want to head towards more important topics, topics that I've been thinking about for years. So I hope you stick with me this year on Love Style. 3 main reasons why you might be angry. Right after the 3, I'm going to give you a solution for each one directly after. So don't mind me if I look at my notes. The first reason you might be angry in your midlife is that you feel betrayed. So I can resonate with this. I've had the worst year ever, also the best year ever. I've had a perfect storm of events occur, sick family members, losing a job, getting laid off unexpectedly, and I also got melanoma, skin cancer. It's been removed. I'm good to go. But I have felt betrayed by these 3 events. I'm using myself as an example because it's okay to be angry. Let me just put that out there. But to hulk out on everybody all the time is not okay behavior. And is definitely not graceful and not becoming, especially in your midlife. When we're in our midlife, I feel like we've had more years to have been betrayed. Now, I don't want to concentrate on the betrayal any more than I have to, but recognizing that you feel betrayed, not that you were, but you feel betrayed is okay. It's an emotion. Some of the main reasons you might feel betrayed by people especially is you might have had crappy parenting or less than ideal parenting. Now, they were doing the best they could with what they were working with. You don't know where they're coming from. And they have their whole past, which might feel like betrayal to them. So if your parents aren't always on the same page as you, or you feel like they're critical of you, I think if they love you, that they're trying to help. So let's just get that out of the way. When you're strict with your loved ones and tell them the truth and they get pissed at you, it's because you love them. So I'm going to look at my notes. It could be school. You could have been bullied. The circumstances of regular life. Maybe you don't have enough money. Maybe you feel like you're always grinding. Maybe you've betrayed yourself or gotten fat or let your health go. Or maybe you're not pursuing your dreams like you wanted to by now. Maybe you're not where you want to be. So the betrayal could actually be self-betrayal. So not to blame yourself, because I don't want this to be a negative message, but I want to consider that we betray ourselves first when we don't forgive ourselves or we feel guilty because life doesn't look like the way we thought it might by now. You may feel spiritually attacked, that people aren't wishing the best for you. And guys, this is a real thing. I'm not going to go into it in this video, but I've been spiritually attacked. I am being spiritually attacked. I feel like at every moment. Now, this is not just people who can do this. This can be other reasons. Politics in the world, especially these days in 2025, alone could do that. My first solution to betrayal is love. The opposite of betrayal would be love to me. You may disagree. Say in the comments if you disagree with me here. I'm looking at my notes. This is what I wrote down. Solutions could be cutting cords with family, friends, even coworkers, neighbors, anybody that doesn't make you feel like your greatest self. You can cut the cord with those people. And that doesn't mean, oh, Misty, I have to divorce my family. No, that just means keep it short, keep it brief, because you're looking out for you first. If you feel like your emotions are going to get damaged by talking to certain people who like to gossip, by being hateful towards other people you don't even know. I notice women, especially over 50, we can be gossipy. I like a good gossip. I'm admitting it. I like a good gossip. I'm a female. That is part of what we do. Unfortunately, gossip is not a good look on most of us, especially those of us who aren't fulfilling our dreams and pointing the finger at other people when we're not even doing it, when we're not even at our best. So a solution could be to cut cords from toxic people who like to gossip, who like to be hateful, and who prey on other people's downfalls. We want to uplift others. Another solution, the opposite of betrayal, to help you not be angry as much, is to send people love and light. Send them blessings. You can do it from afar. You don't have to be right on top of somebody to send love to them. You could also treat it as a game. If somebody starts going, negative on you, let's say you're on a phone call and you're trying to keep it light, you can try to get them to transmute their mood into something positive. Now, I'm not saying play mind games or anything like that, but it might be fun just to dabble a little bit with ultra positivity or lightening the mood in some way to kind of change the subject. And I've done this. I'm good at this. I have to even do this with myself, with my husband. When we start getting into it, I try to transmute the mood into something inspirational to look forward to. And it works. The second reason you may be angry in your midlife is because of the surrounding energy around you or the vibes. I have a solution right after this, of course. But if the energy is off and unbalanced around your environment, it is scientifically proven by Bruce Lipton with his Petri dish deal that the culture cannot help it. If you do not follow the culture to a certain degree energetically, you will be left to die alone. So this reminds me of finding your tribe, making sure you're around people that make you feel happy to be alive. So the energy around you is up to you because you can choose your friends. You can choose how long to talk to somebody who's being negative. You can choose to walk out of the room if you don't like gossip. You can choose to go get a water when you want to get out of a sticky situation, which I've done so many times at work when I've been around the negative Nancys around me. This works. This works. You can pivot. It's wonderful. But some other reasons why your environment is not ideal and the energy around you is unbalanced could be the astro weather. Now, the astro weather, you're going to think I'm weird, and I am. But I'm into this stuff, guys. I follow the astro weather, the planets, the stars, the eclipses, the moon, all of these things, because it's bigger than the weather on Earth. It goes far, far beyond if it's raining out, if you catch my drift. So the astro weather, or astrology even, and the transits of the planets is a scientific reason, proven. This is electrical, this is energy, this is static, this is stuff we don't quite understand that's bigger than us, and I find it fascinating. Let me know if you want to know more about astrology, because I know quite a bit. The energy is affected here on Earth when the astro weather out in the cosmos is doing its thing. I'm not going to get into all the aspects now. There's too many variables, but it's mathematical, it's scientific, it's proven, it's even affected by sound, it's even affected by vibes on the planet that we are emitting, and that spreads, so let's make it good stuff. And it affects your environment, period. Well, I'm going to call this the light triad, and it's the 3 signs that govern most of your life. And the predisposition you may have to elements on the earth, and this all works together with the astro weather and your environment, to why you might respond to certain things, why you might have extra anger when certain things happen, triggers, things like that. So finding out your astrology, looking into your own birth chart, and especially your sun, moon, and rising sign, that is the light triad I'm talking about, will change you. You kind of got to be into it like I am to look really far into it. I found out so much about myself. And at 52 years old, it's a little late. I'm a late bloomer, people. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And finding out my birth chart was one of the best things I've ever done for myself. I find it very interesting. And that is an idea. You may work in a toxic environment like I used to, and because I've been laid off, I can talk about this now, and because my friends, who I thought were my real friends at work, which they weren't, they were my work friends, because they're nowhere to be found now. And I don't mind saying this, because I know this must have happened to you in your life. At 52, I'm realizing who my real friends are. There's a lot less of them than I would like. I hope you are my friend. I hope we can become friends. You also may be too empathetic and take on other people's emotions, which is not always a good thing. I am so empathetic, I could feel the emotion as soon as I walk in a room of like 12 people. But that is not your responsibility. It might be because you're taking on other people's problems as your own. They are not your own. And I'm giving you permission today to look at it from the higher self or a higher perspective. When you look at things from a higher perspective, it's a very enlightened perspective, or towards enlightenment, more towards enlightenment. We're never really enlightened on this earth. But taking on other people's problems is not what you're supposed to do. Now, I have done this my entire life. I love talking to people. I love getting down and dirty with people. I want to know everything there is to know about people, strangers even. We have to pivot and say, I can look at their problem from an intellectual standpoint, from a higher perspective, a higher mind, if you will. Instead of letting it come into our bodies like it's our problem, we have to figure out other people's crap. It's no good for you. Don't be so empathetic. So my solution to number 2, being a bad environment affecting your anger, making you angrier, and you don't maybe even realize it, is the opposite of a bad environment, which would be good vibes. So how do we turn from this to this? I'm going to look at my notes. I have some good suggestions for you. Change your atmosphere. If you're in a bad environment, you have to change the environment. The atmosphere, the environment, whatever you want to call it, the pool you're in, must be on a higher plane of existence. It must be on the light side of things. So I wrote down some stuff. Exercising can be your very first go-to. I did this the other day. I was in such a crappy mood because the environment I had been in affected me. And I said, I have to move my body and get this energy out. You can actually move bad energy out of your body by just changing your movement. This is what yoga is about. This is what walking is about. Even just going outside and moving from the indoors where the environment might not be ideal to outside where the environment could be better. Now, if it's the opposite, go back inside. So this is going to sound weird, but using stillness, meditation, is still an activity, an active way to change your environment. Because your environment is really your mind first, and then things outside of you. So I can do 5-minute meditations. I can do 5 minutes. I can't do 5 minutes 3 times a day. I can't do 20 minutes at a time, and I can't do every single day unless I'm having a great week. Then I can meditate every day for 5 minutes. So 5-minute meditations or being still. Now, some people overthink meditation and they think that they have to do it right. There is no correct way. Let me be very clear here. There is no correct way to meditate. You must decide what your meditation tactic is. So I've even implemented dancing around the house, singing very loud around the house, making up little dances like I used to when I was 12. It worked for us then. We might have been happy-go-lucky. I'm trying to get back to happy-go-lucky because that is my natural state. And I have found when I'm too happy around certain environments, they don't like it. So I have to tone it down and pretend I'm not so happy for other people. And I don't like it. I would rather be happy all the time. Traveling, a little ways, a long ways, any ways, traveling is movement towards a different environment, whether it's temporary, permanent, or in your near future, just talking about traveling. Another way is slow breathing. Even if you're not meditating, I have brought down my blood pressure from all of the events of last year. That sucks for me because it was a terrible year and I'm starting to think maybe some of it was a good year. I don't know yet. I found I was less angry when I breathed very slowly. I'm sure you've heard of box breathing. You breathe in for 5 seconds, hold for 5 seconds, breathe out for 5 seconds, and hold for 5 seconds before you breathe again. Try this technique. It's probably the best technique I've ever learned. Banging on some drums, if you have something like that around you, throwing a ball, some kind of exertion to move that out of your body. But we have these little buffalo drums, and we just boo, 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 boo. And I tell you, I swear, it does something for me, and I'll just howl while I do it and nobody's home. So you guys who follow me know that I'm a musician, and Andrew and I record right here in this room. Check out blackeyedsoul.com. We got like 6 albums out there. Check us out, see if you like us. This brings me to one of my other tips for anger. Using music, of course. You could change the style of music you listen to each day of the week just to be weird. See what you still like, see what you don't like anymore. I listened to Bon Jovi the other day. Andrew and I were listening to some old albums that we always loved. And it reminded me of my teenage years when I didn't have all this anger in me. I was happy-go-lucky. I'm still happy-go-lucky underneath some of the pain that I've endured. And I'm really, really trying to work on myself first. Listening to your favorite songs, your favorite bands back in the day, or even using musical instruments to get that energy out. That's one of my go-tos, actually, since I was a child, that works for me as well. You could be a painter, you could make crafts, you may be into pottery, you could be a great cook. All of these creative outlets are going to help us move the anger out. It freaking works every time. I'll give you a weird example. Andrew and I can bicker like the best of them. When Andrew and I were bickering the other day, he came up with a great solution to get out a board game. If you got the time and you're bored, get out a board game. And so we've been playing Othello, which is one of my very favorite games of all time. I'm awesome at it. And Andrew's getting awesome at it. So it's a real fun competition. Get your mind from feeling sad, get your mind from feeling angry, and get your mind thinking, this is fun. I did this when I was a kid. We played games like crazy when I was a kid. And maybe there's something to the fact that kids don't get really too tied up generally in the mundane anger of this person did this to me and that. They kind of shake it off. And I want to get back to that. I hope we can all get back to that. And I hope we can all get back to having fun again. And even a sport can be helpful for this, going swimming, joining a softball team, playing basketball. So in midlife, especially if you're female, you may be experiencing changes in your system. And I couldn't even say menopause last year. So the 22-year-old me is different than the 52-year-old me. Things then didn't bother me like they seem to bother me now. And it's because I've lived for more years, and then there's been more fuckery in the mix, potentially. I'd like to change that and get back to the old days where things were fun, lighthearted, funny. I was even funnier back then. I'm going to start being funnier. Stick with me to see if I get any funnier this year. So using good vibes to battle bad vibes or a bad environment can easily be done faster than you think. This is your golden era. I'm going to repeat it. This is our golden era. Male, female, doesn't matter. Whether you're in midlife and you're angry or not, this is the best time of your life. You can even start changing things this very moment. The third reason you may be angry is hormones. Unbalanced hormones is a physical reason that you really can't help all that much when you're in the thick of it. So I am 52. I have been in menopause for a year, and I find it challenging. Even if you're a male, you have less testosterone at 52 or in your midlife, whenever your midlife is, than you did when you were in your 20s. And the same goes for women, as we can obviously see. So, of course, menopause is a big one for us ladies. And we have to really, really navigate menopause. It's very challenging, but very doable to make things easier on yourself. So, since we're talking about the things that cause anger, hormones plays a big role. The cortisol that rises up in you and the anger that can rise up in you and the hulking out on people that I have seen with women over 50 is preposterous. Women over 50, we need to check ourselves. We need to check ourselves. I'm calling myself out too. So please don't get triggered. But you're being a bitch. Why are you so bitchy over 50? Which is what I was going to name this video, but I decided to go a little more positive. It doesn't look good on you. It's not graceful whatsoever. You just look like an angry person. And we don't want to do that because we're supposed to be an example for our children and people around us. So let's be happy. Let's be sweet. Even if you have to fake it just a little bit. I know you're having a tough time. And I hope that's why you came here is to know that it's okay. It's okay if you're having a tough time over 50, whether you're male or female. Eating a bad diet is the very first thing that comes to mind, really. Booze, of course, drinking earlier in your years like I did. I gave it up, thank God. I probably wouldn't be alive today. Giving up drugs of different sorts, even over-the-counter drugs they're finding out are just as bad as prescription drugs. The chemicals in everything. We can't help that. It affects our hormones, but we can do our research and realize that there are healthier things we could be choosing, even if it's one thing at a time, every week, micro actions towards fixing this. When your gut is unbalanced, your hormones are unbalanced. And this can make you have high cortisol and be very angry. What else? Chemtrails can be affecting you. I know conspiracy theories alone could be affecting you like they've affected me. I can go down a very deep, dark rabbit hole about how things are trying to get us. It does no good for me to be scared because then I start to act impulsively and I start to be angry. And it shows, especially older women. Please, ladies, listen to your husbands when they tell you you're overreacting, because you probably are. I'm not saying I take it very well when Andrew tells me, but later I do think about it. And then sometimes I do notice later on that I might have been a little bit too bitchy. Your gut has a brain. When your enzymes do not work or you're missing some, you got the Crips and the Bloods in your gut fighting for territory. We want the good guys to win. We want the good guys to win. I don't know which one they are, but the good guys in your gut should be winning when you dial back all the crap you might have been consuming that I'd mentioned. If you are very inflexible, that's not good. This is anger. This is anger showing up in a different way. Try today, even for the next hour, to be flexible. More flexible than you usually are. This is working for me. I'm using it as an experiment to try to be more flexible, shutting my mouth more, listening more, being more supportive when I can. I'm not perfect. Bad sleep could be causing an imbalance in your hormones. My personal preference is 7 cups of water and 7 hours of sleep. That will change things for you if you haven't tried. Also, what can help, even though I'm not talking about food today per se, is eating in a shorter window. Skipping a couple of meals. Skipping breakfast is the easiest one for me. And doing 1 meal a day, OMAD, can actually help balance out your hormones. So eating in a shorter window of 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever you got to start at, skipping breakfast only is a great place to start. This will help balance your hormones. Of course, we know eating crappy, eating the junk, eating the bad seed oils, these are all going to affect your hormones. It's out in the public now. It's everybody knows this now. None of us are looking forward to early dementia. My third solution to being angry in your midlife due to unbalanced hormones is, of course, to balance your hormones. Hello, Captain Obvious Misty. I'm going to look at my notes. And because my memory, guys, let me tell you, when you're getting older, your memory will start to go if you don't pay attention. They say that playing these mahjong games and match games and certain things on the phone can help your memory, which I find interesting. And I started doing little word games. I've never been kind of into the games on the phone, but recently it does kind of help my memory. So that's just a quick tip. So of course you would want to get physically healthier if you're going to balance your hormones that may be off. So walking. All I do is walk. And I do one other type of exercise, mainly, that I'll talk to you about another time because it might be a revolutionary idea for you guys. So keep tuning to me and subscribe, please, because it's going to be very fun. Getting physically fit, getting in better physical shape because you're getting rid of all of the crap. Fixing your leaky gut, which is kind of associated with the enzymes in your body that you may have lost from taking antibiotics over the years. Make micro actions towards it. I have plenty of tips, and check out all of my carnivore diet videos, keto videos, in all of the seasons in my playlists, because that's what I've been talking about mostly here on Love Style for a few years now. Now we're talking about other stuff. Another tip is implementing moderation into your life. So, I hate the word moderation, but I'm trying to use moderation when it comes to everything. Practicing moderation is actually a very good tool that I was surprised to find out myself while practicing it. So moderation with food, moderation with any kind of substance, moderation with conversations with people. I don't always have to go to the depths. Moderation with arguing or bickering and being a little bit more neutral and dialing it back has done me so much good. At first, practicing moderation was a little hard for me because I think it was my ego taking over, saying, well, they're not going to get away with that, and I should just tell them off, and she needs to not do that. And being controlling in my head, being controlling with my opinions of others, being so extreme. I used to hate the expression, everything in moderation. Ugh. That aggravates me. I can admit it, but I'm not getting angry over it. I'm looking at it as information. That moderation can actually be an answer for some of us who like to go to extremes, like myself. I'm very fiery. I can't help it. You might be fiery too. It's okay to practice neutrality, moderation, where you're kind of in the middle. And it's not so bad here. It's not so bad here. My former self might say, well, Misty, you should tell that person off, and you should tell this person how to run their business, and you should tell this one what to say to their kids. But now I realize I don't have to bother with any of it. I could be moderate. I could just listen more. I could shut my mouth more. So these are some of the solutions that have worked for me lately. I'm trying to not talk as much so I can hear more and put the puzzle together in my mind. Almost like a game. Call it a game if you want. See if you can figure out who done it. Everyone's into this true crime. It might be almost like a puzzle that you can solve for yourself. When you stop talking, you listen more, and you see what you know at the end of the day that you didn't know at the beginning of the day by listening more and talking less. Now, I love to talk up a storm, but I'm practicing being quiet. I'm not going to say I'm that comfortable with quiet, but it is a moderation of sorts to sit back and allow people's opinions you may not agree with to be spoken. Allow other people's take to be allowed, their perspective on things. And it takes the control away from us to where it's a healthy kind of letting go. When they say let go, I never really knew what they meant. Letting go can be very liberating for us, especially if you're in your midlife and especially if you're female. Letting go can be like a vacation. You don't have to worry as much when you practice neutrality, moderation, listening, and letting go. And let things be what they are. A couple micro actions you can take to balance your hormones instead of having them unbalanced, besides staying away from junk food, eating on a carnivore, keto, or low carb diet, eating more natural foods or single foods, eating things with less ingredients, staying away from toxic people, environments, and especially toxic intake. Call a friend who is very practical, has their crap together. So I like to talk to my cousin, Patty. I love you so much, Patty. You are my sistie. And you listen to me when I need an ear, and we know how to keep it short. We set ourselves 30 minutes every couple of weeks to chit chat, and that feels nice to just kind of let it out. Let somebody hear you. Talking to a loved one, friend, or neighbor might just make you feel better, might help balance hormones. And they even say getting a pet can be better for your health. I'm going to just add that. I did not write it on my notes at all, but getting a pet or petting your kitty and just sitting can be so balancing for your hormones. You would never believe it. It's supposed to lower blood pressure and everything. I don't know how this is done. I just think it's a miracle, and I think it could probably help. I want to add, for me, when I'm having unbalanced hormones and I want to balance them, I will watch a good romantic comedy. Look at my Instagram under Misty Lovestyle and some of my social media. It's mostly under Misty Lovestyle. I even have movie suggestions that my 5 favorite movie suggestions if you're having a bad day and you want to feel normal. Sometimes I think it helps to escape, read a book, watch a movie, treat yourself. Give yourself a few extra minutes. Have lunch with a girlfriend. Also, a bath with Epsom salt can balance way more than you think, and including, I forgot to mention this, magnesium. You might have to order some good magnesium from Amazon, but magnesium is vital to the body, and it's the one thing we're most depleted of, besides, of course, sunshine and vitamin D. So let's add that to the solutions of balancing your hormones for less midlife anger. I want to thank you for tuning into Love Style today. Stick with me. Keep subscribed to me. I will not load up your feed with a bunch of videos. I make them when I feel the energy is right. I have to be on point when I do these videos, and today feels great, I have to admit, and it feels nice to talk to you. Please comment anything you want to know. I have a lot of tips about life. If you just want to talk, throw an emoji in there for me. If anything in this video has helped you, stay subscribed this year. Listen to Black Eyed Soul, and we'll see you next time on Love Style. Peace out.